Hello YouTube, this is Asatsu5 and today I'm reviewing the Kaiser Wilhelm knife, or the cat knife, the mercator knife, the black cat knife, the k55k. It has many different names depending on who's talking about it, but it is a cool knife in my opinion. It's kind of in the same category as the Duke knife or the Hikonagami knife, all three of which have this folded sheet metal construction, except this is a slip joint, that's a lockback, and the Hikonagami is a friction photo. But they serve the same purpose. They're the kind of the peasant knife of their time. Actually, this was a little bit different, but yeah, this one was marketed towards the Melanesian market. But anyways, this knife first got its start in 1867. That makes it about 151 years old today. And it was called the Kaiser Wilhelm knife because it was a very popular knife around his reign. It's called a black cat knife because it's black and it has a cat on it. In fact, its model name, k55k, the first K stands for Kaufmann, 55, the address of the factory in Solingen, and the backwards K stands for cat, in German, of course, Katzel. This is a pretty cool knife. This is very popular all over the world. In the United States, it saw action in both World War I and World War II. Was not issued in those theaters of war, but it was used. It was a EDC knife of the German army. And so, you know, in World War I, you know, just because this was in the trench doesn't make this a trench knife. It was an EDC knife. It's for cutting up your bread or cutting up your meat, sharpening pencils, you know, cutting string, possibly grooming, you know, you know, cleaning your fingernails, stuff like that. It provides surgery. But after World War II, this knife started coming into the United States, and it became popular in the United States. And there was rumors going around that this knife was the weapon of choice of teenagers in the Southern Bronx. So they would use it to intimidate, mug people, and use it in violent situations, which is not cool. But it's a little side note that this knife that is just terrible as a weapon was actually used as a weapon, not in warfare, but in the streets of the Southern Bronx in the United States. I want to get the stats and specifications out of the way. You can get this in both stainless steel or carbon steel. They don't specify which one. I read somewhere that the rock hardness is around 56. But for this review, when I wanted to confirm that, I could not find the website where I read that on. But I did read that somewhere on the web. I got my trusty brand new calipers. And we want to see how thick this knife is. It is, the handle is 0.26 inches. The blade stock is 0.9 inches. And let's see if I can do this. And this is getting kind of difficult, but it's about 3.20 inches. I think that's around it. I could look it up, but I'm trying to get used to using these calipers. This is one of my favorite EDC knives. If I had to pick, you know, the regional affordable knives from the different regions, like the Duke and the Hikonagami, it would go in this order: this knife, the Hikonagami, and the Duke. This is extremely thin, very easy to carry, and unfortunately it does not have a pocket clip. But fortunately for people in Europe, if you go on the German or the Automesser website, which bought out Kaufmann in 1995. But if you go on Automesser, they have a variant of this knife with a pocket clip. And that would be super awesome if I could get that without having to pay extreme shipping cost. But I did add a thumb stud to it, and I'll talk more about that later. But this is one of my favorite EDC knives. It's very affordable, has a very utilitarian pin blade shape. My brother compared it to the Almaro Eagle, not because they're directly relatable as far as in performance and stuff and shape, but they're both very thin knives. The Almaro is going to be a little bit lighter weight because it's not fully metal constructed, but they both kind of have this thin, easy to carry feel to them, you know. But and they also both are riveted construction. And I guess the point my brother was trying to make is, yeah, I can buy this knife and do just about everything I could do with the Almaro, and I'm not making fun of Almaro. I think their knives are a little bit overpriced, but you know, as far as the EDC knife, this can pretty much do it all, and it cost around $26–27, I think. You have those different variants where you have brass or copper handles, and those are a little bit more expensive, around $47, I think. You know, because copper is super expensive. It has a bell, and it's worth noting that that bell can cross the channel, and the blade can hit that and damage the blade. I guess it can also act as a safety lock if you want to do that. But it's called the, I think I already went over this. This is my second time filming the video, but it has many different names. Cat knife, mercator knife. It's interesting that Kaufmann is, I think, German for merchant or trader. And let's see if I can make this focus. Mercator, and I think it's also said right here. Can't really see that in the camera, but mercator is Latin for trader, merchant. You know, think of mercator and market. You kind of have the same root word in there. So the company was playing off the fact that the name Kaufmann means merchant, and then mercator is the brand name that means merchant. But it's a good little EDC knife if you're gonna do anything far as food prep, EDC, opening up packages. It's very thin, very easy to carry, will slip just about in any pocket. But I added this thumb stud to it. And if you hold it like a normal knife and try to open it, it gets really difficult to open it with the thumb stud. You know, holding it how you would normally hold a pocket knife. This is not optimal for using with a thumb stud. By the way, this thumb stud I got on Amazon. It costs around $8. But I found a little technique that helps open this knife with this thumb stud. And just before I get started on that, you can flick it open real fast. It's unnecessary and it will cause a lot of wrist action. But I find one of the most enjoyable and easy ways to open this knife with one hand is to place your pointer finger on the top of the handle, and then simply use your thumb to open it. And what your pointer finger does is it keeps your thumb high up on the knife, and it makes sure you can actually open that knife without running out of room. Because if you hold it down too low right here, it gets really difficult to open that knife completely. So you want to be high up on the knife. You don't have to put your finger, you know, if you're high, you don't have to use your finger. But I find using the pointer finger just kind of helps. It feels comfortable to me to do that. To me, it makes things a little bit more simpler. But Cool knife. It's over, well, it is a 151-year-old design. And if you want a little cheap knife that you can use as a beetle, this survived World War I, so it can be a good beetle knife. And that's it. Hope y'all enjoyed the review. I'm a Satsu 5, and I'm out.